Welcome to Carlton's Math Corner. Today we're going to continue our study on function and relations. At this time, please make sure that you have a notebook, something to write with, as well as your vocabulary packet. Our target today is I can interpret graphs of relations. Well, we have a graph that's in front of us, and I want you to notice that on the x-axis we have 0 to 50. Then on the y-axis, we have 0 to 100. And then we have a graph that doesn't start at 0. It actually starts at an unknown number, but it looks like it's about, maybe about 75 or so. And then it goes up to 100. And it looks like it kind of plateaus, but it's not a perfect straight line. And then it declines and it goes back down to about where it was originally. And I want you to think of a scenario in real life that would start, roughly at about 75. I don't know, it could be 68, increases to about 100, and then declines back down to about 68 again. Can you think of something, come up with a scenario where you could talk us through where it would actually satisfy this graph? Well, I came up with a scenario, and here's what I said. My heart rate rose quickly to 100. Well, think about it. Your heart rate, a resting heart rate, is usually roughly between probably about 65, 75, around there. So it rose quickly to 100 beats per minute, and then while I was exercising, and it kind of stayed roughly there. Not a perfect straight line though, because I think, your heart rate probably fluctuates a little bit. And then it falls it falls off when I stop. So my heart rate goes back to about normal after 50 minutes of exercising. And if you think about it, okay, so the y-axis it represents my beats per minute, and then the x-axis is minutes. Okay, so it's time. And so as the time is going on and I'm exercising, my heart rate is changing and it's fluctuating. Okay, this is what we're doing. We are coming up with a scenario that fits a graph. Okay, and so you're coming up with, what could I have for the x-axis? What could that represent? In this case, it was minutes. And that's my x. And my y-axis, we said that it's beats. Okay, how many beats per minute? And so that's my y. And then I came up with a scenario. Now, are there other scenarios that I could come up with? Yes, for sure. But our job when we're looking at relations and we're trying to relate numbers, even on a graph, we're trying to come up with our own scenario, something that maybe we've experienced in life that could maybe fit this graph. Okay, and so that's what you're doing today. You're going to look at a graph, and sometimes in order to come up with a graph, you need to see how much your graph is changing, how much the line is changing. Maybe you may even plot some points. Maybe you would plot, a point here, a point there, and kind of see, how is it changing? Even looking at ordered pairs, you could come up with some ordered pairs, to see how much they're fluctuating. So like this ordered pair, if I actually came up with some minutes and I said, well, this is 0 to 50, so maybe I'm counting every 10 minutes. Okay, so if this was 10 minutes, then 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then this is 50. Okay, so for at 10 minutes, I could actually see where my dot is, and this is 0 to 100. So I still could count by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, etc. 80, and I know I'm running out of, we'll put 100 up there. Not perfect intervals because I'm just doing this on, quickly, but, looking at this, if I look at my minutes, I could do this, look at my ordered pairs just so I can come up with a scenario. And so if I'm going from, 10 minutes and I'm rising about, what is that, 78 roughly, and then after 20 minutes, I still stay about, looks like, oops. So 20 minutes, it looks like I go to about 100 and, I stay there. So I could look at my, plotted points and kind of come up with a scenario that fits it. And that's what we're doing today. So what I want you to do, and honestly with this, I came up with this because I was trying to think, okay, where in life would I start at not 0? I would have to start at a higher number, about in the 60s or so or higher, and then plateau at 100. So I was trying to think of something. I'm like, oh my gosh, where, I could do distance, distance away from my house, start at a friend's house or something, and maybe they are 78 miles away. I don't know. But I was trying to come up with something. And so that's why beats per minute kind of made sense to me, because I like to exercise. So now, here's what I want you to do for your ticket problem. I want you to actually try to come up with a scenario for this one. Notice the x-axis is different. It's 0 to 10. And then the y-axis is also different, 0 to 50. Where could you fluctuate, kind of plateau and then increase, plateau, increase, plateau, increase. And notice it doesn't go back down to 0. So what could you write that would fit this scenario? Well, thank you so much for joining me at Carlton's Math Corner, and I look forward to meeting with you again. Have a good day. Bye.